Hi.
So in the 60s, you were in your 20s?
Yes.
Yes. And you were working as a scientist?
Yes.
Where were you working?
In a suburb of Chicago. It wasn't, the computers were the size of a bus. You really couldn't walk around with a laptop.
So do you think that people who are biochemists and have the same job that you used to have it easier now because of the computers, or do you think that they do similar work, or is it a different thing?
Well, I don't think it's any easier.
You don't think the computers made it easier?
Well, the computers made it easier due to access of information, so things are faster.
Okay.
And you have things going on when you're doing your research that everything is a little bit more at your fingertips.
You were telling me that you went to the Democratic National Convention in 1968?
I didn't go there. I happened just to be.
Tell me about that. How were you there on that day?
I happened to be in the area when all of the big trouble started.
What were you doing in that?
I came downtown after my class. I was taking courses at night after I got through off of work. I was going to graduate school at night, and I came down to the north end of the downtown area, and to meet a friend, a school buddy that I had happened to meet a couple of weeks before, and we stayed in contact. We got together at a bar just to visit, because he was working downtown on a construction project, and of course I was downtown going to school at night. And we were sitting in the bar when we heard this big commotion outside. And we heard sirens and all kinds of things going on, so we went outside to see what was going on. And they were marching in an orderly way, somewhat orderly, you know. They were going down the sidewalk, and one of the young men got pushed, I believe, by one of the riot police, what I could see, and he got pushed into a window of a corner dry cleaning store on right off. We were right by Rush Street. My friend and I, we decided to retreat.
Yeah.
We went back into the bar.
Did you ever experience any type of discrimination? Do you think there was more discrimination towards Jewish people in the 1960s?
I always was confronted by discrimination.
In the 1960s?
Oh yeah. I've had that experience even now as an adult at my age.
Even now?
Yes, recently.
So that wasn't
in the last 10 years.
That wasn't something that was particular to the 1960s. I guess all people are just, or I guess people, there's always going to be discriminative people.
There's going to be people that are always going to be discriminating. There's
Even
always people that don't like other people. I think it was more prevalent then.
It was.
And it was quieter. It was like underground. It was like underneath the covers.
Discrimination. And then
right.
You think it's gone away more?
Well, I think it's more out in the open. If you had a certain kind of a name, you couldn't get a job.
Oh, really?
You'd go for the interview, you wouldn't get the job. I experienced that when I was in high school.
Wow. Well, that was the 1950s.
Or a little before, yeah, in the 50s, yeah. Wow. And there still is that discrimination.
Like, how was TV compared to now in the 60s?
Well, Chicago had 4 channels. Now people listen to the radio an awful lot more than they do today.
Yeah.
You listen to the radio all the time. I mean, that was the most important.
I listen to the radio.
Well, that was the most important thing when you bought a car, that it came with the radio.
Yeah.
People kept in communication with their radios.
So,
a lot of the TV stations, after a certain time at night, they turned off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, usually 12 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, the TV station went off. A lot of soap operas on TV,
Yeah.
And a lot of different kinds of more family-oriented programs on TV.
More family-oriented?
Yeah, the TV wasn't as wide open for profanity and everything else like it is today.
Right, because there was only so much TV, there were only so many channels.
Well, but still, there was a lot of safeguards in place.
And, like, what movies were still a big deal, but were they less of a big deal now that TV was around?
Oh, everybody went to you went to the movies on the weekends.
Every single weekend?
Not every weekend, no. When you saw that you wanted to go see a particular movie, you went.
Did you go to the movies a lot?
Yeah, we had to go to movies. People have more time today for entertainment than we did back then.
Why?
Because everything was more of a took longer to do. It took longer to get things done at work.
So
it took longer to sometimes to travel to work.
And we have like Netflix, you know,
people work from home today on their computers.
Give me 20 seconds and I can find any TV show, any episode of any TV show or any movie ever on the internet for free. And so I guess it was going to the movies is more of a big deal in the 1960s.
It's a social thing. You can go to movies with your friends.
Yeah, see that social. I don't watch TV with human beings.
See, it's totally different.
It's weird because movies are the same thing. Like movies are still staring at a screen of like attractive people shooting guns or something, but
people today have to be entertained continuously. People didn't have as much. They weren't as affluent as they are today. They didn't have as much disposable income. They didn't spoil their kids like they do today.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get extra things, your parents probably told you go out and get a job. We provided you the basics in order to live.
Kids have jobs these days, but you're saying that their parents give them more.
Kids get jobs, but they don't stay on the jobs, and when they go on the jobs, they don't work very hard either.
Okay.
But they do want their paycheck at the end of the week.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Listen, you're welcome very much for this interview.
Yes, thank you for telling me.
I hope I enlightened you on how things are so much different than they are today.
Yes.
A lot different.
You did. Thank you for all the insight.
There's a lot of the cats that walk around on the table.
Sorry, wait a minute.